Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar. And I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. There are a whole lot of things that have been going on, and I literally have been trying for the last week to tell y'all about all this stuff. But today I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna at least tell y'all about what went down today. This is my own personal tea. Uh it pertains to me in a way. Yeah, so let me just go ahead and get into it. Y'all ignore the stupidity going on above me because I'm actually supposed to be asleep as usual and the stupidity is going on. I'm debating on if whether or not I'm going to insert different little clips in here from other moments where I've tried to record throughout the week and I have not been able to do so because of them doing the most. Probably not because I'm kind of short on time and I need to try to wind down and hope and pray that they go somewhere and sit down so I can go to sleep. Yeah, I'm already battling my voice because it has been trying to leave me for the last week and a half. And that's just a normal thing for me. It runs in my family. It is what it is. A lot of my relatives on my mom's side of the family, they just lose their voice at will. Ain't nothing got to be going on. It just happens. I hate that, and I really do not need that to happen when I'm at home. So pray for me. Y'all, excuse me. Like I said, y'all know I'm supposed to be asleep, so excuse me for yawning. Let's see how I'm going to start this off because y'all, earlier today, I was a little bit livid. So I'm minding my business. I'm working. I'm upstairs doing what I'm doing. Somebody comes upstairs that I know, but they don't work up there. They work somewhere else, and they are not in their area. Their area is not operational this week, and they had them to come in and do all kinds of little random little stuff to just kind of get their hours in so that they aren't just sitting around not being able to get a check because there's nothing that they can really do because they might be ready to work, but the area is not operational, so it just is what it is. So I'm cool with this person. I done told y'all about her before or whatever, but I'm not gonna go into the specifics, but just know she's somebody who I know. I've known her pretty much since I first started at this place. She cool. So eventually she gets to me because I saw her. So I'm like, well, obviously she up here to talk to me. Like, she might be taking a break and she coming to talk to me. But yeah, I found out she was coming up there to do some stuff to kind of look busy or whatever. Actually, do little random stuff, housekeeping and all kinds of other little random stuff, just to kind of have them something to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it really wasn't nothing to do. So we get to talking. One part of the conversation is me explaining to her more in depth of that day when the married man, the OG married man, took it upon himself to come upstairs looking for me, asked the other married man, mm-hmm, uh, where I was and all this other stuff. And that's when he told him that I was on break and all that. And later on, I get back from the break and then I'm informed that he's been looking for me. And I was like, why would he be looking for me? And of course, coincidentally, the side heifer and her friends ain't there. All of a sudden, now you looking and searching high and low for me, and I'm not at work. Make a long story short, he eventually ran into me, and he was like, he came back up there again. First of all, he came back up there and caught me while I was up there, and was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Can I talk to you later? So in my mind, once he like set it off like that, I kind of felt like, okay, maybe he's upset because this is my second time. I think this was the second time I had to go to HR on her in reference to him, because the reason why there is a side heifer, married man side heifer saga, if you will, that I was going through dealing with putting up and posting because it was that crazy, is because he lives for me. She does not like anybody who lives for me, especially the main person that she lived for, who was a married man. And it's like, I didn't tell this man to live for me. I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't want somebody else's husband. I'm sorry. Sorry, I would like my own man if I'm going to have one. So just saying to, you know, clear the air and to, you know, get that record straight. You know, if he were a single man and she was in the slightest bit worried, she should be, because if I had anything to do with anything, nobody would have walked in on a situation going down and laugh. They would be walking in on something and wishing that they were a party to it. They would have been wishing that they was the one who was on the receiving end of all of these things that are going on. Even if that wasn't the situation, if he was able to have any dealings with me in the way that he uses her, that they use each other, or whatever you want to say, I'm sorry, but you know, he'll be following up behind me like a hound dog in the woods. I'm just saying, it just is what it is. The way she act, he will be acting way worse, because there would really be a reason for him to be like, wait a minute, there's a lot going on over here and I'm here for it, and I'm trying to be around that all the time. Anyway, let me stop being crazy, but I'm being serious at the same time. So I'm talking to a friend, you know, co-worker, whatever you want to call her, talking to her. And so I'm telling her about that instance when he came up there and did the most, did all that. So I actually said the other married man's name, right? So she was like, oh, it's interesting that you brought his name up. She had never once knew his name. She had seen him in passing, and like, he would just like say hey to her. He's really friendly. Everybody live for him. Like, it's not, you know, crazy or unheard of for anybody to see him talking to people. I mean, like, everybody catches him, want to talk to him. Like, he's kind of popular in his own way. Like, people really live for him. Like, his personality is very infectious. So, you know, on that front, he cool. On the personal front, not so much. So she talking to me and she was like, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we weren't operational yet again. It was something that ain't had nothing to do with them. It was like Thanksgiving week and some more, like, it was other random stuff like during the week, or like it happened right before Thanksgiving or something like that, but they weren't operational. There was a meeting that everybody was to attend. You either go to one of the meetings that is before your shift, the hour before your shift, or starting right after you get off work. If they have any available like that, just depends on what shift you work. So this particular one that he was going to was an hour before his shift was going to start. Keep in mind, y'all remember, he does not work on my shift anymore. So he works on the shift prior to mine. Well, like she has already said before, like, she typically does not run into anybody like that on the shift that he works. He works in a different capacity now and all that stuff. Cool, do what you do. So she said she was minding her business, and then, you know, he had no idea that they had canceled that particular time slot for the meeting. So that day was out the window. He didn't came to work early. I'm hoping he didn't come in there for the meeting and then was going to go back home, because that's what some people actually have to do because of how ignorant the meetings are set up at times. So I'm thinking that, you know, he just had an extra hour he had to, you know, stay up there. He already be getting there early anyway, so it's not like it was really out of the loop for him and inconvenience and, oh, I could have slept a little bit longer or something like that. Like, there are times he really get there an hour and a half, 2 hours early anyway. So she said he approached her and was like, hey, how you doing? And just started talking. And he basically was flirting with her. And so she said she wasn't sure if he was flirting with her. So she was like, why do I get the feeling that you're flirting with me? She said he was like talking to her, and then he like kind of like did like this little flirty look and kind of like smiled a little bit, flashed his teeth. I was like, So I'm just listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, she don't know my tea. Like, nobody in there knows my tea. Nobody in that building knows my tea outside of him. Yeah, outside of him. In that moment, he's the only one that knows. So it's like, it's just between the two of us. Unless he's been going around telling somebody something, but I don't believe he has, because if that would have been the case, that would have spread like wildfire. So anyway, so she talking about, you know, she asked him, why does it feel like you're flirting with me? And so he was like, maybe I am. So he proceeded to tell her, I'm married, but my divorce is going to be finalized soon. So I was like, wait a minute. And I'm trying to go back in my memory bank real quick because I'm like, didn't you just say that this happened a couple of weeks ago when y'all weren't operational? My spidey senses are tingling because what you talking about? That ain't even making sense. So I'm like, no. She got to be talking about somebody else. Maybe because it's a couple of people around there with his name. And I was like, she must be talking about this other person. And so I was like, are we talking about the same person? And so I start trying to explain, oh, like, maybe you talking about this. She was like, no. I'm talking about the same person you talking about. Said his title and everything. So I'm like, oh, really? Tell me more. So she talking to me, and she was just like, he talking about maybe they can, do some things, and she can be the side or something like that. I was like, oh. When I tell you, I was just like, I just started laughing. Like, I was just like, you are blowing my mind right now. I'm just like, keep talking to say everything you got to say to me because what I'm going to tell you is going to blow your mind. So she done told me all of this, basically telling me this man rolled up on her, was flirting with her, and was talking about how he wanted to do some things with her, whatever. He trying to see what it'd be like. And I was just like, oh. So then I proceeded to tell her, it's hilarious to me, and I find it funny that he rolling up on you talking about he is currently married and he is filing for divorce or has filed for divorce and it's not finalized, but it will be soon. When he told me out his own mouth that he filed at the beginning of the year and it was finalized no later than the first couple of months, like the first month or two of summer. So which one is it? Which one actually is it? Because it was to the point where once he told me, oh, we divorced, I was like, huh? He was like, yeah, we got divorced. I filed the paperwork in this month, and in this month we were divorced. I was like, okay. So I said to myself, I'm going to test that theory. And I asked him to see a divorce decree, right? Now, he never produced the divorce decree. I mean, it is what it is. And I don't know why I didn't stay on his neck about that, because there was a man who at one point in time was living for me to the point where he told me he was married. He told me the whole situation and how everything went down. I told y'all about this before. It was a guy who was interested in me. He had a wife that was deaf. He learned sign language because he lived for her like that, and he wanted to make sure that he could effectively communicate with her and, not have communication issues. And he was ex-military. He used to be a Marine or something like that. I think he was in the Marines. He retired from that. He ended up working a normal job or two, and he would work those jobs, bring the checks home to her, and he really didn't care what she did with him as long as the bills were being paid. Anything else she could do what she wanted to do with the money. That's how much he lived for her. He would come home from work. She didn't work, so he would come home from work, massage her feet, massage her whole body. Like, she got the princess, queen, or whatever treatment, and the sex was amazing. So I was just like, I'm confused as to why this next part happened, which is she decided that she wanted to start cheating on him. And then one day when he came home, the man she was cheating on him with was at the house, their home that they shared together, their marital home. And the man got buck with him once. He was like, who are you and what are you doing in my house? Got buck with him, shot him, left him for dead. Yeah, he has scars and everything. Like, I've seen the scars on his body from where this man shot him, and he really was left for dead because of that. But yeah, he was like, nah, I'm divorced. And he had a specific place he held the divorce decree and everything. He went and retrieved that folder with the quickness and was like, you can look at everything. I don't care if you see my name in its entirety, any of the information, the dates, the time, I don't care. And so I read through it. I know what an official divorce decree looked like. It had the official seal on it and all of that. So I was like, okay, alrighty then. This is real. So I don't know why I didn't stay on his neck about that. I just feel like as hard as you have tried to go for me, like, you done set it off rip. I'm trying to believe that you being honest with me, because like when it comes to the married dude, not the OG married dude, the other one, When I first met you, you told me that you've been living for me. You've been wanting me since before I even knew of your existence. You saw me when I wasn't seeing you. Okay? So then it got to a point where they started moving you where you were closer to me. So now I'm interacting with you. We talking. Then I realized that you might be kin to some people I know, and I ended up guessing correctly. Cool. Then I found out you and I work in the same department. So every now and again, you and I get to work together. If it's not me and you, then it's you and my partner. If it's not you and my partner, then it's me and my partner. So it was kind of iffy as to when we would work together. So you would be in your feelings when we didn't get to work together more. And people always said we work together so well. And I'm like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, me and my partner work well together as well. It just is what it is. So you going up for me. Now, before you started going up for me, it's like he had this thing. He got to know me, made it seem like he was cool. And then, he told me, he was like, hey, I got a wife. We've been married. It's our anniversary today. Like, one day, I remember that conversation. I remember exactly where I was in our department and everything when this man brought up the fact that he had a wife. He said, I have a wife, and we've been married 2 years. I was like, oh, okay. Told me he had a son with her and that all his other kids are grown. And I was like, all right, okay. It seemed like because of the age that this might have been a shotgun wedding or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But that's what it seemed like to me. Whether it was or not, I never decided that I wanted to or cared to know if that was the situation or not. It really don't even matter because the child is here. So, like, he really was telling me this stuff. So in my mind, I'm like, okay. So I mean, like, I'm not having no kind of issue. I'm not sitting up here having no feelings for this man. Like, why would I have feelings for somebody like this? Like, I don't develop feelings for men who I know are married. Like, ooh, I can see myself with him. He gonna be my husband. Now, there's a difference in saying somebody fine versus saying, ooh, I'm about to screw them and I don't care if they got a wife or not. Method Man is fine for no reason. Method Man is fine for no reason. But I don't sit up there and lust after him in my heart. I just say, dang, he fine, and go on about my business. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So as time went by, he felt comfortable enough to tell me that, even though he's married, the marriage is falling apart for whatever reason. It is what it is. He wants to get a divorce. And I'm like, okay. Talking about he wanted to get a divorce. He told me he had been cheating on the wife. He got a side piece here and there, whatever. And I'm like, okay. Do what you do. It ain't got nothing to do with me. So then he starts to eventually tell me that he lived for me and been living for me, want me, all of this. And I'm just looking like, what? Like, I really don't be understanding why married men live for me. I do not understand, like, what it is. Why am I a married man magnet? I really don't get that. Because I don't go and seek nobody out. I be minding my business. All of that. Like, either they tell me that they married or they don't tell me. And other people be all around me and be like, I don't know why he rolling up on you. He got, like, this. One time I was having a conversation with somebody, the woman was just like, why are you asking her all these questions? You got a wife. And I mean, he was asking me like super, like, kind of personal questions in front of everybody. And I didn't really care. So, I mean, like, if it's something I don't want to share, I'm going to say I don't care to share. So, I'm going to save myself. I'm not going to feel like I'm obligated to tell you just because you're asking me in front of a group of people. So, it was what it was. So anyway, back to this situation. So, he done did all this. He sets it off on the left, right, front, and the back. So after this woman just told me that he done rolled up on her, she is just looking like, wow, I can't believe he rolled up on me. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I then told her, that's funny to me because he been living for me since the first day he laid eyes on me. Up in here, according to him. And I have video evidence of this man saying that he loves me, want to be with me, and telling me all of these amazing, beautiful things that if I actually wholeheartedly believed him, if I would have sat up there and believed him, then I would have been a fool. So now I'm so glad that I was smart enough to say to myself, I feel like this too good to be true. And even if we were friends, I feel like you need a little bit more time to get to know me a little bit more before you say you love me, even in that way. But he was talking about in more than just a friend type of a love. And I was just like, okay. Because I'm not finna say it back. Like, I don't feel that. I done told you off rip I'm single and not looking for nothing. Even when you tried to tell me that, oh, well, I know that you're not here for no married man, but I want to be able to be with you. I'm going to get a divorce. I don't know when, but I'm going to get a divorce. And I'm just saying to myself, okay, that ain't got nothing to do with me yet again, because I done told you I'm single and not looking for nothing. In his mind, he is painting this picture of an amazing future with him. I already know a whole lot of his family members, and I ain't got no issues with none of the ones that I didn't ever work with, and the people that they date that I'm cool with. So it just is what it is. So I'm dropping nuggets everywhere. Her mouth, jaw, everything on the floor. Like, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. I was like, girl, it's to the point where I didn't even want to hug him. As big of a hugger as I am, I didn't even want to hug him at work because I didn't want nobody to ever get an impression, because I don't want nobody in my business. I don't talk to them folks about none of my business, not for real. Like, when it comes to love and relationships, I don't talk to them about my business. I don't talk to them about stuff like that. They don't know to this day what type of a man I like. You don't know what I like as far as a man, what the man look like, if I even like a man. Like, they don't know none of that. That's what be killing me. Like, I'm a mystery to these folks when it comes to the juicy details. And as soon as they see me having any type of association with somebody, they like, ooh, I wonder if they screwing. And I just be like, I can't even say hey to somebody. Somebody can't feel comfortable enough coming and talking to me about life or whatever they're talking to me about without you going to and jumping to the conclusion that somebody's screwing. Like, I'm tired. So anyway, yeah, I done told her all this stuff, and I had forgotten as to whether or not I had just deleted a lot of that stuff. Y'all, I don't have room on my phone. I hate that with this phone, you don't have an SD card slot. They just have a slot for your SIM card. On my last phone, I had room where I could fill up my phone and I could fill up my SIM card and not have to worry about that. So the next time I upgrade, I'm going to have to get a phone that has a big enough storage on its own, or hope that they have a SIM card slot as well for that. Because yeah, I have to delete so much stuff whenever I do videos and stuff like this. Like, almost all my videos have to be deleted after I upload. So it just is what it is, in order to make sure I have room. Because if I don't have enough room, it's going to say you don't have enough storage. It's not going to do any of the converting and stuff I needed to do. It's a whole process. So yeah, I told her, and I'm looking through the pictures and stuff, and I don't see him. I said that must have been some of the stuff that I deleted, because I was just like, I was kind of holding on to it just in case there was a situation that I felt was gonna come about that I was gonna need it, but it seemed like I didn't need it, and I literally just deleted it less than a week ago. But the saving grace is, if I ever in life need or feel like I need to have that as backup, all I gotta do is scroll up for I don't know how long. It might take me an hour or two to do it because of how Instagram is. I will be able to look it up because I sent the footage to my friends because I couldn't believe he was saying this stuff to me, so I video recorded it. So yeah, he was all on there talking about, I love you, you're just this wonderful person, I want to be with you, you don't understand how much I like you, you don't understand all this crap. I'm trying to go with you when you go home. I can't even tell y'all how many times this man that came out of nowhere offering to drive me, saying to me, well, we can have a nice room, and you know, I don't want to like basically bombard your parents or whatever, so we can have a room and we spend time with each other whenever you're not dealing with your folks and all this other stuff. And I want to come outside of just seeing the sights. I want to see your dad so that I can introduce myself to him and ask him for permission to date you, and eventually come back again and ask him for permission to marry you. And he done said that several times. But here you are in December of the same year that you said all these same things to me, where you done rolled up on somebody that I'm pretty sure you've seen us have interactions before at some point in time. I'm pretty sure you have. You done rolled up on her, trying to flirt with her and doing all that. Oh, okay. And at this point, I don't know which one you're lying about. Are you married or are you divorced? Because I never saw a divorce decree. It's sad because the last time, like after his mom passed away, that was the most consistent he had ever been. He had been consistent for a good little while after that happened. He came to me talking about, oh, I feel so comfortable talking to you. I never felt comfortable expressing myself. I don't feel embarrassed, whatever, whatever. Like, he felt that comfortable talking to me. And I was like, well, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable or out of place talking to anybody, especially if they're your friend. You definitely shouldn't have felt that way when dealing with your wife. That was your whole wife. Like, what is we talking about? So he said he's never been able, or at least in his mind, he never felt like he was able to talk freely and express himself, or to vent, or to just talk about anything without being judged and all of that. And I was like, well, that's sad. Um, yeah, I have no idea whether or not he's married or divorced now at this point, because he kept telling me he was divorced. Told me he filed and everything happened, and the divorce decree came in the mail. I forgot when he said it came. He told me the month it came, and he said it's at the house. I said okay, and all of that. I told him I would like to see it. He said all right, that ain't no problem. I said okay. So I'm very confused at this point. Like, are you married or not? Because you over here wasting my time. But like I was in the middle of saying that, like, this last leg, before he started, pretty much before he ghosted me, before he ghosted me. Remember, for those of y'all who were around in October, I think the very beginning of October or whenever it was, he was supposed to come over to my place. This was after his mom passed away. He hadn't been getting any sleep. I had gone to the store my last day of my work week after I got off. I had gone to the store. I went and got a box of chamomile tea for him that had melatonin in it and something else, I think. And so I already had planned in my mind, I'm going to get him some tea. I'm going to have him drinking it while he vented to me and talking to me about his mom, getting everything out, everything he needed to talk to me about his family. And I'm going to make sure he get knocked out, because I noticed that when he has come over, he gets some of the best sleep. I love when somebody can get rest, because a lot of times that's the best medicine. I ain't gonna lie to you. They say laughter it's definitely healing for me. But when it comes to stuff like that, he need to get sleep. He has not been sleeping. And I would just be like, oh my gosh, sometimes I would see him when we would FaceTime and you could tell he was tired. The way his voice would sound, you could tell he hadn't been sleeping. Like, every time he would answer the phone, whenever he would call me and I would answer the phone, his voice always sounded like he was winding down and tired or whatever. Like, he sounded drained all the time. And I was just like, I just want to do something for him. And I had a gift over here for him for his birthday. He's very, like, his teeth are nice. And like I told y'all earlier, he sat up there and like flashed his smile to her. Like, his teeth are nice. I've told him that his teeth are nice. And he told me thank you and all that or whatever before. Y'all excuse me, I'm tired. Trying to keep my eyes open. I'm almost done. But I'm just like, I don't understand the fact that I told you that people stay trying me. So I'm not interested in a relationship. I'm not interested in dating, none of that. He done asked me out on dates several times and I said no. I keep declining. He keep on trying to do these things for me. And I'm like, nope. He keep on trying to volunteer to go on trips home with me. And I say no. He talking about he want to do other stuff. He was talking about me going to family functions with him that I have heard about. I've heard about these family functions. It seemed very fun. And I'm pretty sure I would have so much footage, y'all would be like, man, they doing a lot. I'm just saying. It really seems fun. I have talked to my friend while she was at some of the family functions. These are his relatives. And it would be going on in the background. It would be everything. I mean, it would be so fun. A lot of them get drunk and do what they do, but it was always good food, apparently. The food did look good. She's very picky. Like, she picky like me. But some of the food, a lot of the food mainly would be good and all of that. Cool, do what you do. But the fact that you had me getting to a point where I started thinking, okay, maybe I should let my guard down a little bit. Maybe I should let him take me on a date. He'd been asking for a date, been asking to take me out. And then I kind of tried to envision a real future with him, meaning marriage. And I kind of saw it. And as soon as I saw it, he ended up ghosting me. So yeah, y'all, that's the foolishness.